The drill that I'm about to share with you today is one of my favorites, and it will help your golf regardless of your current ability. This is great if you're an experienced player whose swing gets off track and you're looking to find that feel again, or if you're a newer golfer looking to learn where to get to in the follow through. The 90-90-90 drill is one of my favorites, and I can't wait to share this drill with you. And if you're a member of my YouTube channel, you'll get a bonus video at the end of this one, which will be a second and subsequent 90-90-90 drill that will advance this even further. So the 90-90-90 drill refers to a checkpoint drill in the follow through of the swing, specifically at P9 or position 9, where the trail arm is parallel to the ground. That's the checkpoint we're going to be using in today's drill. And the 90-90-90 drill is a tremendous drill regardless of your ability. If you're an experienced player who's lost their feel and a little bit of the sequencing and the coordination, your swing just feels a bit off, this is a great way to rediscover that connection. If you're a newer player who doesn't really know where to get to in the follow through, it all feels like a bit of a muddle and a little bit clumsy, then this is a great way to learn the correct positions and feels for a good sound follow through. It's also a great place to start every single practice session, just to warm up from and get yourself ready to go. So without further ado, the 90-90-90 drill in the follow through, it refers to the knees, the hips and the shoulders, and at P9, where the trail arm is parallel to the ground, the knees will have turned through 90 degrees. I'll get to that in just a second, as will the hips and the shoulders. So at a very specific stop point in the follow through, you'd be looking for the shoulder turn to be around 90, the hip turn to be around 90, and you might look at my knees and say, well, they're not 90. Well, the 90 in the knees refers to the fact that this trail knee started by pointing out around 20 degrees. So the trowel of 90 in the knee means that the actual rotation down here at the base is somewhere around 70 degrees. So 90-90-90 refers to a specific checkpoint in the follow through, trail arm parallel to the ground, and you'd want to have your knees, your hips and your shoulders all turned through 90 degrees by that point. And as I teach you to practice 90-90-90, I'll also teach you a couple of other things. I'll tell you to put all of your weight onto that lead leg, setting the wrench as we've spoken about in previous lessons, because you're going to turn around that front hip. We don't want to be doing 90-90-90 with our weight on our back foot. That's not going to work at all. So we're going to set the wrench by putting all of the weight on the front. And then the second thing we're going to do is make sure that we take the arm alignments that we build in at setup. The 3 and the 1 would be a discussion we've had in previous videos. And we take that arm alignment with us and orbit it around us into the follow through to this P9 90-90-90 checkpoint. So I've got all of my weight forward. My pelvis is pushed as far towards the target as possible. My trail leg is straightening and my knees trying to get to my front knee, albeit it doesn't quite get there. And my shoulders have turned and are facing the target. And from a down the line perspective, it's also worth noting how the head remains on the wall throughout the entirety of this drill. There's no standing up, which a lot of you will find difficult to control in the follow through. Again, this is why this checkpoint is so valuable. It doesn't allow you to go too far, and therefore you can train the specific skills of all of the bits we need in a small swing before building up to a bigger one. That's the second 90-90-90 video that I was talking about, which we'll get to later. So when you practice, you set up, you put the wrench forward, the weight on the front, and you practice swinging through to a point where the arms and the club in this example are parallel to the ground. Arms straight, hips forward, 90-90-90. It's a great place to start to build up your contact and also to build in some predictability to the direction of your shots as well. It pretty much guarantees the contact's going to be good. That was struck beautifully. The divot there is after the ball. And the direction was really under control. That's also not that far from a full swing. I just want to touch on one final part to this drill that I think can help you to understand how to organize the arms throughout this. They can sometimes be difficult to control, especially as you start picking up the speed. So I'm going to discuss the arm part of this using a training aid that I love that can help to make sure you keep the 3 and the 1 intact. So if you haven't seen my video on how to aim your arms at setup, you really need to watch that one first. You need to understand when I talk about the trail elbow being in position 3 and the trail forearm and the wrist being in position 1, because it's those alignments that we need to build in at setup, and then I'll show you how you can keep those alignments using the connector ball here from Shore Golf. Why do I like this drill and why do I like this training aid? Well, to begin with, keeping your arms close together throughout the swing is one of the cornerstones of a great swing. And if I had one training aid that I could recommend to golfers across the world, I would just tell them to put a ball between their arms and hold it when they swing. Maintaining the distance that the arms and the elbows are apart throughout the backswing, impact and the follow through is really going to help you manage the swing radius, make better contact, and ultimately just become a better golfer. I see golfers violating the arm straight part of the swing all of the time. So just by having something between your arms, you're going to build in better radius management, and most likely better contact will come immediately. But the reason I really like this device, in addition to just having something between my arms to hold, are these bars that go through it and that stick out of it. The position 3 of the trail elbow, the external rotation that we've spoken about in previous videos, can be seen by looking at this rod. So when I position the trail arm into position 3 and move it across my body, this rod starts to tilt and point slightly to the right. You can see that from the down the line camera. I've got the right arm in position 3 and I can actually see that on the rod that's going through the ball. If my arm was set up in position 2 or 1, I'd start swinging across the ball, and you'd also see how the rod on this ball is now pointing to the left. So not only can I build this in at setup, but as I take this through and do 90, 90, 90 and I finish, I can also look here to check that the ball is still in the same place, meaning as I do this towards the camera, if I've still got the external rotation in place of the 3, then this rod will still be tilted slightly to the right, as it is in this example. If, however, I allow my arms to roll and for the internal rotation to ensue here on the right arm, you'll see how the rod starts to point to the left. This would be consistent with the most erratic golfers who struggle not only to control contact, but also to control the direction of their shots. So taking the arm alignment that you have at setup, I wanted to use this device to help you see how you would also keep that in the finish when doing the 90, 90, 90 drill. It's a little bit more visible with the ball. You don't need the ball to do the drill. You can just learn to take the arm alignments that you build at setup and transport those into the 90-90 drill. And the final checkpoint I need to leave you with before I let you go is in the follow through at the 90-90-90 checkpoint, is that the arms and the club have orbited past your spine or the midline of your body. What do I mean by that? Well, what I'm saying is you can't swing through, stop with your arms parallel to the ground and just have allowed your arms and club to have gone off to the side here. That's going to cause contact and directional issues. So when you stop at 90-90-90, the arms and the club would point more down the target line, and you'll see that my hands have gone past my midline. That's it. That's all of the checkpoints you need to go and try this 90-90-90 drill. I think if you do it, you'll find that you'll get immediate improvements in your ball striking, and your directional control will improve as well. Work up from a slow, smooth start to begin with, hit all of the checkpoints, and then gradually build up the speed. You'll find that you'll actually be able to get almost full distance out of this exercise. But once you do master this one, you're going to want to move this from a half swing in the follow through to a full follow through, and for that you're going to need to know 90-90-90 drill part 2. If you're a member of my YouTube community, you can go and watch that video right here, right now. If you're not a member yet and you'd like to be, you can find details down in the description. It costs less than a cup of coffee per month. If you're not ready to watch this one just yet, then why don't you go and watch this one, which is a free video on the aiming of the arms. We discussed that in this video, and understanding this can be a real game changer.